So we are here for the presentation of the annual result of the group SFPI 2022. So let's start the presentation. In 2022, SFPI Group has generated a turnover about 629 million euro of turnover in nothing new in the safety industry. 42% of the revenue are generated outside of France. At the end of the last year, SFPI Group has more than 164 employees. 45 of those are working outside France. It's a growth of around 310 workers and employees coming from the acquisition of the Voevo Group. The key figures for 22 are the following: 629 million euro turnover, a significant growth in comparison with 21. We are speaking about more than 60 million euro of growth, 36 million euro of recurring operating income, 57 million euro of EBITDA, 25 million euro of net financial excess. What a point I want to highlight is the industrial investment level, 23 million euro. In the past, our average level was more or less around 15 million euro investment, a significant growth. Last year, the level of the industrial investment was around 10 million euro. How can we explain this growth of turnover? As you know, we are specialized in the safety industry for people, goods and environment. We have two business groups, one in construction, security and comfort for buildings, the other one in industry, air treatment and energy control. The first group of business has generated 440 million euro turnover, a growth of a small 50 million euro. The majority of this growth is coming from the MAC group, the division which is working windows, blinds, awning, shutters, garage doors for residential and non-residential building. We have a growth of 39 million euros in this department of the group, and 20 are coming from the integration at the 1st of August 22 of the Voevo Group. 20 million euros coming from the Voevo Group, and the rest is what we call organic growth. For the Dome Security branch, the growth is about 10 million euros. So the both branch of the business group construction has had a significant growth last year. The business group industry, air treatment and energy control has just a growth of 10 million euros, mainly driven by JKF. The sales are moving from 180 million euros to 129 million euros. For the MMD group, the sales are stable. Let's now enter more in detail with the evolution of the result and the revenue for each branches of the group. And as always, we start with the Dome Security branch. You can see on this chart that the turnover is at 207.6 million, an increase of 5%, mainly in the first half year, because the second part of the year was more or less stable in comparison with the former year. How can we explain this stabilization? It's more or less coming from the east part of Europe, south of Europe, and a stabilization journey. In France, the Western Europe basis, it has continued to be a little dynamic. All in all, at the end of the year, we have a significant growth of the order books in all the areas in which we are working. We have 12% more growth in order book at the end of 2022 in comparison at the end of 2021. As you can see, our gross margin has a small drop of 1.2% of turnover. We have to face a strong material inflation over the period, and we have also to increase 2 or 3 times, depending on the product line, our price, and we have always a delay between the increase of our purchasing cost and the increase of the sales product. The second point is that we have also to control our operating costs. It was more or less well done during the year. But at the end, the drop of the gross margin plus the increase of the depreciation connected to the increase of our capex, because we have invested a small 7 million euro during the year, and last year we have also invested more than 5 million euro. So all in all, it brings an increase of our amortization around 2 million euro, plus an increase of the stock depreciation coming from the strategy of increasing our security stock of purchasing raw material, semi-finished product. So we have 3 million euro explained by the increase of the depreciation in the stock, and the rest is coming from the decrease of the gross margin. The last months of the year were also concerned by the acquisition of Tapkey, a startup specialized in cloud-based access control and badge dematerialization solution. You will see one picture on the next slide. This Austrian company, really specialized in cloud solution with electronic mobile keys, is a key investment for our business to develop all the IoT connected cylinder, locks, handles we have in the group, and mainly for the professional market, which is the main driver market for all the electronic solution of locking business. We are also concerned, and we invest a lot about a new product. The name is Dome Rock, a connected locks for the residential business, and it's a co-development with the Somfy Group, who is a leader group in the residential market, especially for domotic management of the garage door, roller shutter, and a lot of other small features for the domestic residential market. We have also continued to develop and to grow our keystone partners in Europe. We are today more than 200. We have also developed an industrial locking solution for boxes, which is relevant for the market of co-working, sharing the office, etc. And also we have a good increase of our access control sales, especially in the professional business. Here you see a windmill park. We have more and more in Europe, and it can be strange for you, but you have a lot of doors, a lot of fences, a lot of people who are going for maintenance for these windmill, and they need digitalized access control to secure these windmills. Now, the next speaker will be Damien to explain you the huge work we have done in the MAC group.
Thank you very much. So here is the MAC business group. So before talking about numbers, please allow me to spend a little bit of time on the two major events that happened in 2022 within the MAC division. And these two events will help you to better understand the result of the group. And also this year 2022 was, due to these major events, a year of transformation, a year of progress, a year of transition, so to speak. So the first event, of course, is the acquisition of the company Voinvo in Austria on July 31st, with a contribution to the sales of 20 million euros for the year 2022 overall. So the integration is on today, has started already. It's a very good move, very good momentum, with several working groups working on synergies, commercial synergies and operational synergies. So everything is going okay so far, with a lot of potentials. The second major event of the year is the full rollout or implementation of the strategic plan MAC 250. So this is a plan aiming at increasing the sales of the historical perimeter of MAC from 190 million euro in 2021 to 250 in 2025, and of course aiming at increasing drastically the profitability. So this MAC 250 plan will require a lot of capex over the next years, and it started already in 2022 with already 10 million euro of capex. In total, we will invest between 25 and 30 million euro in capex. So that's why we have such a high level of capex in 2022. It also had a major impact on the result of the year because due to the major projects ongoing, we had some one-off cost, exceptional cost related to move of production, related to harmonization of collective agreements, related to IT projects. So a lot of exceptional costs, which are in the order of magnitude of 5 million euros for the whole year of 2022. So that had a major impact on the result. So coming back to the numbers very briefly, so sales increased by 40 million euro, half of it coming from Voenvo, 20 million euro, and half of it coming from organic growth, mainly driven by a price increase to our customers. Markets were, okay for windows and shutters, but for the rest, for awnings, screens and blinds, markets were a little bit declining last year due to inflation and so on. Gross margin decreased by 3 points. There was a very nice article in the French newspaper yesterday explaining why window producer had troubles to pass on price increase to the customers. There is a limit to the price increase. We are a bit caught up by the increase in raw materials, and we did not manage yet to pass on all the price increase to our customer. Recurring operating income decreased by 4 million euros. This is the result, of course, of the decrease of the gross margin. This is, of course, also the result of the exceptional one-off cost related to MAC 250, again, the 5 million euro. It's also related to the increase in inventory depreciation. I think we mentioned this last time. We had a very ambitious policy in terms of inventory to cope with price increase of raw materials, plus also to cope with the problem of availability. But we have very strict rules within the group on inventory depreciation, and it costed us 1 million euro of result for the year 2022. And this is, a bit. Despite all of this, and we had a very nice control of the wages and salaries, and also a nice control on the other loads and other charges. Now let's move to very briefly to the MAC 250 plan. I'm not going to go into too many details on the slides. Just as a summary, we are on growing markets everywhere for the MAC products. We've got strong brands, good products, good team, but we need to improve our service to the customers, the on-time delivery in full. That's one of the targets of the group. We want to grow the sales, like I said, from 190 to 250. We want to improve the EBITDA, and we have an action plan which is articulated around 4 pillars, that you can see here. The first pillar is about what we call the social contract, social relationships with collaborators, employees, and also unions. Which means harmonization of the collective agreements and implementation of the national collective agreement for metallurgy within the MAC activities. Second pillar, which is the operational excellence. I think it speaks by itself. We need to improve our operational excellence. We need to improve our operational performance, efficiency, productivity, and of course on-time delivery. Third pillar, efficient information system, a key backbone within any organization. So we decided to move to the Info LN Cloud software solution for the ERP and the configurator, and the implementation will last from this year with 2 sites implemented towards the end of the year until end of 2025. And the last major piece of work that we've done within the MAC 250 is a complete review or reshuffling of our industrial footprint with a lot of things happening today and happened already. So you can see on the map the major production site of Mac in France. It's at the historical perimeter of Mac. And you can see on the right-hand side of the slide all the major moves or action plans that we are carrying out today to improve the situation, to improve Mac 250. So it goes from production transfer to investment in new machine, to renovation of social premises, to building expansion or building new buildings. So that's all the things that we've been doing within the Mac 250 project in all of the sites of Mac in France. Again, the investment, the capex that we are planning to carry out are about between 25 and 30 million euros. So I went very fast on this, but you can see all the details on the presentation on the website. Next, the last but not the least, a few pictures of our major investment. So you can see some building extension in Saint-Valérien for our new interior blinds production facility with a reorganization of the production line. You can see on the right the investment in a painting booth for the chassis factory, and as well as the cut NC machine in chassis, and also some major investment in our aluminium windows producing facility in Brittany with a building extension, a new machine center, some cutting facility, and also solar panel. Let's move now to the JKF group. So sales increased by 10 million euro, a little bit more than 10 million euro, which is an organic growth because there is no acquisition over the period. So it's an organic growth of 9%, driven not only by price increase, of course, but also by volumes, especially on large projects. So we had some good markets in Europe everywhere with an increase order intake by 13% versus 20 and 21. And this resulted in a very high order backlog at the end of the year, which is plus 40% versus last year at 58.6 million euros of backlog, which is a very nice and healthy backlog for this year, 2023. Gross margin remains stable because, yeah, we managed to pass the price increase or the raw material price increase to our customer. In terms of recurring operating income, some improvement, so to speak. We went from 7.5 million euro to 8 million euro. So we had a very good control our salary cost and a very good control our other charges, external charges. But the result was impacted by an additional depreciation in Denmark due to the new machine that we commissioned over the last year, plus an ERP project that we had in Denmark, implementation of a business central solution in Denmark and in Poland. That costed us in total for both depreciation and the project 1 million euro. So in total, it's a major impact on the result. Two last comments on the JKF group. First, at the end of 2022 and beginning of 2023, we decided to group together or to cluster together all the people within JKF in France working on R&D in a single, well-organized and structured innovation center, so that's just to prepare the future. And also we opened in JKF France still a JKF Academy for internal training to sustain the knowledge and know-how of our companies, to formalize all the know-how that we had, because there is a change of management or a change of generation, so to speak, between people leaving for pensions and the newcomers. So we had to train the newcomers. That's why we created this dedicated JKF Academy for internal training. The last slide on JKF, two major investments in Denmark. One about the what we call the process heat recovery system, chaleur fatale in French. I don't know, it's not the same in English, but it's just to recover the heat from the process to be used to heat the plant, and aiming at reducing the gas consumption by 50%. And then we also invested in a collaborative robot, a cobot, integrated to a welding system and programmed by learnings. In a nutshell, the operator showed to the robot what move to make on the machine, on the welding, by using the robot, and then the robot learns and we'll be able to do the same in the future. And two very big projects that happened in 2022 at Neu, GKF. One is the complete overhaul of the electrical distribution system at the Stade de France, a major stadium in Paris, in anticipation of the Olympics in 2024. So this is a nice project that we had. And also, just to illustrate the fact that Neu GKF is really at the core of the heart of the current concern today in terms of recycling, circular economy, we install a complete delisting installation for 2 furnaces in aluminium recycling foundry. So that's again to see that we are at the heart of our current concern overall. I will leave the stage to Henri Morel.
Now we are moving to the last department of the group, the group company MMD. In this group company, you have 3 main companies, Barrican, Cipriani, and Steriflow. The turnover and the sales are more or less stable, around 60 million euros, but this doesn't reflect the dynamism of the market, because in the second half of the year, we have a very strong order income in all the companies of the group, Barrican, Cipriani, and Steriflow. As you can see on the highlights, we have a growth of the order intake of more than 100% in 2021 versus 2021 in 2023. This is the first time I see a so strong recovery in order in a department, which is mainly driven by all the energy problem we have had during the year 2022, and also driven by the decarbonation of our industry. Cipriani, which is in the same verticals as Barrican, has also a strong order entry, plus 22%, and Steriflow is also on the same trend. What we can hope for 2023 is a new growth of the turnover for this department. Gross margin is a little under pressure, especially because we are using special material, and sometimes we have long delivery delay for delivering some special raw material for heat exchanger or for sterilizator. And sometimes we have differences between the quotation price and the delivery price. We have put in the company some measure to solve this point for the next year. At the end, we have also a good control of the salary cost and the other expenses, as you have seen in the different branches of the group. At the end, we have an increase of the recurring operating income of 2 million euros, because we jump from 4.7 to 6.7. The 282 employees, and we have continued to invest in this company, 2.5 million euro turnover, 2.5 million euro of capex investment. Last year, we have invested 1 million euro. So in the next slide, you will see some significant investment we have done in the Barrican group. We have invested in a refurbishment of a spot welding machine in the sheet metal workshop in Lyon. And we have also developed a new bending machine. All these investments are key for to sustain and to follow the strong increase of the sales we have in Barrican. You have a picture of sterilization plant for one of our vegetables customer. So you have 4 devices of sterilization. And at the end, you have a significant investment in Cipriani, more than 1 million euros for a 6,500 press to press metal sheet to develop a new range of flat heat exchanger. At the end, we move in the consolidated financial. Nothing new. The global turnover is 629. Gross margin has a decrease of 2% in comparison to 2021. And if you jump directly to the recurring operating income, you see that the slowdown of our result is mainly driven by the decrease of the gross margin, 2% gross margin less, 2% recurring operating income decrease. For the rest, payroll expenses and other operating costs are more or less in line with 2021, despite the strong exceptional OPEX we have concerning the transformation plan we have in the MAC group, 200 and MAC 250. We have 5 million euro of exceptional OPEX, and we have also exceptional costs for the energy consumption in the Dome group, mainly in the first half of the year 2022. Depreciation has also an increase of 3 million euro. This is also significant. So if you add to the 336 the increase of the depreciation plus one part of the exceptional cost we have during this year for energy and for the transformation plan MAC 250, we are not so far from our recurring operating income of last year. We have, due to this a little underperformance of the Dome group, an exceptional non-recurring cost and amortization on our capex in some plants of the Dome group. The total is around 3.9 million euros, but we think that we have a good chance to recover this amount next year. For the rest, nothing new, and at the end, the group share profit is 22 million euros for the year 2022. We have the cash flow statement. Quickly, we move from 154 to 123. We are more or less between the cash flow and the consumption of working capital and industrial invest, a cash generation of only 2.9 million euros, but we eat a lot of cash between the self-control we buy, 1.6, dividend we pay last year, 7.5, and 33.8 for the financial investment. Behind that, you have the cash out we spent for the Voenvo acquisition, around 30 million euros, and the cash out for the Tapti acquisition, around 4 million euros. All that's explain mainly the totality of the 33.8 million euro financial investment, and the difference between the borrowings and the reimbursement of our bank loans is 8.4 million euros. And so at the end, our total cash we have is 123 million euros. Our balance sheet, a strong balance sheet, a strong equity, level of non-current liability and provision more or less on the same level as last year. What is really growing is the working capital. You have seen in the slide before that we have 25 more or less increase of our working capital, and the rest is the increase of the working capital coming from Voenvo in our balance sheet, which is a little more than 10 million euros. So that's explained mainly the growth of 33 million euros of working capital between 2021 and 2022. You see on this graph. After next slide, you have our group financial structure. Nothing new. The only point I want to highlight is that our strong level of EBITDA, which is 57.4, a little lower than last year, but mainly driven by the non-recurring costs we have in the MAC group and other extra costs we have in the Dome group. The transformation plan is now a presentation which will be done by Sophie.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to explain a few lines on our transformation plan. Remember, SFPI Group built 2 years ago now a plan around industrial responsibility, which is our ambition. We define it as the behavior that enables a company and its employee to perform while ensuring the safety for people, property, and the environment. Our plan is organized around 4 pillars, and I am going to show you a few examples of what we did over the year in each pillar. Our first pillar is the managerial pillar. Our ambition is to strengthen the role of the managers and improve talent retention, and anticipate turnover. Few numbers just to illustrate why this topic is really important for the group. In 2022, we have 4,164 employees, and we hired 574 people, and 675 people left the group. It led to a turnover of 15%, which is quite high compared to last year. Another KPI that we are following since a few years now is the rate of voluntary departure. As you can read on the table in the screen, more than 50% of departure are voluntary in the group, which is quite a high number. So definitely we launched over the year action to try to organize the group around that numbers, and that was the first point. Second pillar of our transformation plan is the customer and the commercial pillar. We have decided to improve customer satisfaction because we really believe that it's a way to increase also our profitability. We have implemented a new KPI in each of our companies in 2022. Those two KPI are NPS and OTIF. They are now followed in more than 90% of our company, and as you can see on our screen, 6 companies are better than the targets that we fixed for them in 2022, which is having an NPS over 40 and a OTIF better than 90%. The 6 companies are considered as good performers. They are customer-centric, and we are proud of them in the group. On the other side, some companies might and will have to do better, whether by improving their NPS, that's the company that are operation-centric. They are good in delivery, good in performance, but maybe not enough customer-oriented. On the other hand, some companies are very customer-oriented, what we call them sales-centric, but they might be better in our operational process. We ask our companies that are in those 2 squares, of course, to keep improving their process to be better. And of course, the companies that are not that good are above average in OTIF and in NPS. We'll have to work on those 2 topics over the next months. Our third pillar is the environmental pillar. In 2022, we launched a second carbon footprint at the group level. We used the greenhouse gas protocol, and we did the carbon footprint of each of our locations in the group. It's more than 59 carbon footprint that we have consolidated. And these numbers led to a total carbon footprint of 3,026 tons of thousand tons of CO2, in 2022. It's more than 80 tons per employee. These numbers are counted on scope 1, 2, and 3. So it's a real and global carbon footprint that we've measured, and we will keep doing this exercise every year for the group now. On the other part of the screen, we also measuring more concrete and more technical numbers. We are measuring the electricity consumption and gas consumption related to our sales. You can see the evolution over the last 3 years. Last and not the least, our financial pillars. Our target and our ambition was to keep building commons tool and frame of reference. Our last mission was to rewrite and to update our code of conduct. So that's what we did. So we now have the new version of SFPI code of conduct, which is divided in 2 parts, an ethic parts and a principle of action parts, which give all the do and don't for our managers and members of executive boards. So this document is available since a few weeks now and will reinforce the group position. Few words now on another topic, which is the new acquisition that the group realized a few weeks ago now in Italy. Dome Security bought the Italian company Viro, specialized in padlocks and electric locks. It's 70 employees and 16 million euros turnover. The acquisition was done in March, and you have the details on the slide. Few elements now on this acquisition. The reason why the group decided to integrate Viro. Of course, there's a product range topic, a network, which is interesting for us, and good and great export presence. I'm not going to read and give you more details. This will be a whole topic at our next SFAF presentation in September. What you were expecting now is what we are targeting for 2023. So the turnover and sales we expect for this year is 715 million euros. Next communication I just mentioned, it will be September the 21st. It will be on half-year results. Update on our stock market mapping. Nothing changed since our last communication. Main information on this slide, it's the dividends that the shareholders will have to vote on at the next shareholder meeting in June is 5 cents per share. The total amount will be 5 million euro. And just a comment to finish, if you want to have, we launch our SFPI group LinkedIn page, so we will be happy if you can follow us on this social network to have our latest news.